Okay, so here we go. This is the Cave Creek Carefree Loop, approximately 22 miles. Now, as you can see, this video is sped up, and I've done that to make this easier to watch time-wise. So I started the ride in Cave Creek, and I was on North Schoolhouse Road, I believe it's north, but I immediately turned onto Cave Creek Road and went eastbound, and we went a little over 6 miles on Cave Creek Road before turning right. The roadway here on Cave Creek, the shoulder's a little narrower than I would have preferred because parts of the shoulder are actually rough riding the bike. Probably okay on a mountain bike, but I could feel the bumps on part of this. I had rated as fair to good though still, because it wasn't bad, it just could have been better. The roadway itself was a lot smoother, and I wish they had just carried the repaving or whatever they did to the shoulder itself. So the first part of this had a couple of uphills that exceeded the 2 to 3% grade that you see. This one you can see it just went up to 7%, but it was a very short hill, 2 of them, and even my wife, who doesn't ride a lot, found it very manageable. So we're now in Carefree, and we're going to be continue riding up Cave Creek. Again, we're going to end up turning right up the road at North Lone Mountain Parkway, and then we're going to go south on that, or right. Now, if you'll notice, up in the top right-hand corner is the actual course we're riding, and the dot will follow where we're at on that course. Right below it, obviously, is the diagram of the altitude we were traveling, and the dot on that with the 2 crosshair lines obviously show where we're at currently on that. And I've also added in our elevation, current elevation, the grade percentage, temperature, which it was pretty close to 82 when we were riding, but it might have been just slightly cooler right now because it's 7 o'clock on this point in the trip. So you also get the distance we've been traveling so far. You can see it shows we've been traveling 13 minutes to this point to go 2.5 miles. I was not rushing up this hill, I was just taking my time, and it wasn't too bad. It maintained pretty much 2% most of the way, and was less at times and more at times, but nothing terrible. So along this route, we actually, Vicky saw the person when we stopped for our first break going up the hill, because, well, we stopped because this is the longest hill that Vicky has ridden continuously. So I just wanted to make it easy for her. But there was a man riding at our speed up the hill with one leg. He had both legs riding the bike, but obviously it was more of a peg leg that's a great incentive for people who have an issue. And this may be the person that's coming by, I forget. And when he passed us, he turned right away and went south, while we continued on. And up to the top right corner, I'm hoping that a brief description of the entire trip is going to come up. But well, there it is. And this will show my route that I went. Okay, so I just let that run out, and thank you for Relive for making it so easy to give a description of a ride like that. So we continue on up the road, and there's really nothing more to see. We lose the shoulder. Well, here it is right here where we lost the shoulder, but we had room, and all the vehicles gave us plenty of room when they would pass us. I have no complaints. We rerode this route again today, and same thing. We didn't have any problems with any cars at any time, and they were all super friendly in terms of giving plenty of clearance to cyclists. And once we turn right, there's only about a mile left of uphill. And it's interesting, after about a mile, we're still going uphill just slightly. Today, we saw 4 deer running alongside us, and they were clearly more afraid of us than we were of them. And I kind of wish I had my camera, because for me that's an unusual event because where I normally ride there are no deer, period. So basically, in my last 50 years living in the States, I've lived in areas where there weren't wildlife to run out in front of you unless it was the occasional bobcat or coyote. So here's our second break. And just very quick, now my wife has allergies, so she likes to blow her nose and clear her system out, and take a sip of water, and once she does that, we are ready to go. And that just means we've got basically a little over half a mile to our turn. And once we turn, you'll actually see a stop. But the purpose of the stop when we turn was more to change the battery in this GoPro 360 Max camera. I had a cheap battery in it, and they generally only last about 40 minutes rather than the full hour that I normally get out of the GoPro battery. And I just stuck the GoPro battery in for the rest of the trip. Now, if you're considering going to the Phoenix area, and you want to go on a bike ride, this is actually a nice bike ride. You can extend it out a lot longer than we did. But because of the heat, the days are all over 100 right now. And here's our turn. So since the days are all over 100, I'm riding in the morning, and by the time we stop, it's normally warmed up. So we're pretty much done with our climb, and this is like no climb, 1 to 2%, but it was much gentler than the road that we had just been on. And the road here, the road surface is excellent. And now we're right alongside the wall where we saw the 4 deer today. And what you'll notice very dramatically is once we get to the top of the hill, my speed, now we're on the flat spot, and now we're going down. And you can tell just from my speed in the bottom left corner, as well as looking at the gradient in the bottom right corner. But we were taking it easy, and I coasted through much of this. We weren't in a rush. We were as much sightseeing as we were bike riding. So I don't know if you'll see the bike rider coming up on the left, because I passed him so quickly, but I think the gentleman with one leg, and that might have been him right there, he had already gone that distance. Of course, we made 2 stops in between. So now here we're turning right, and we're going west on East Stagecoach Pass Road. We're going to continue on this. This was a nice little bike lane. Wasn't as wide as most, but it was still enough to feel safe, and the road condition was good. We lose the bike lane about a half mile before we turn left onto North Legend Trail Parkway. And even when we lose the bike lane, the cars still gave us plenty of room as they passed. But you'll notice traffic is very light. So off on our right back there that we just passed, there was a golf course hidden back there. And when we turn left, we're going through a country club, the Legend Trail Golf. And we do go by one of the holes where it's a beautiful, well-manicured golf course with a waterfall right there next to the road where you had a good view of it. So here's where we lost our shoulder. You can see this, and we're going to turn left fairly quickly. I believe we stopped, and I probably stopped just to make sure that I made the right turn. Now the interesting part on this road is when I tried to map this route out, because I'd never ridden out here before, it wouldn't let me go on the main road through the golf course. I don't understand why. The map did have an error showing it was a one-way road the entire time. And that was an error, and that might have been the reason. But see how quickly we passed this beautiful waterfall. And it's just right after we come up on the houses, since most of the homes there are right off the golf course. So here's the homes, so we should be passing now. There it is, the water hole. Now I should mention I'm using a GoPro 360 Max, And I'm using that because I can go through and show you the entire view all the way around rather than just what's in front of me. And I can also show pictures of the person riding with me, fore and aft, when there's more than one riding. But again, this is a beautiful sight. What you don't get to see, and I wish it was clearer in the videos, is the mountains in the distance. It's like you have mountains all the way around you at different points. Now normally I would ride right on the white line here, but like I'm doing right now, and this is because a bike rider's passing us. You can see I'm doing 22 coasting, and he just passed me like I'm standing still. It's really easy to go 25 to 28 miles an hour here with no effort on pretty much any bike. And my wife kept encouraging me to catch up to him and ride with him, and I refused. But it would have been an easy thing to do. So yeah, you can see we're off just a little bit because of the light. And he was talking about how he normally would have ridden towards the mountain that had a fire, and we had heard about it, but we didn't know where it was. And come to find out, it was actually one of the mountains I was considering riding around, and it was southeast of us by about 5 miles, but we didn't even notice it. So apparently the wind was blowing all the smoke from the fire away from us so that we couldn't see it. And we had the same issue today. Apparently the fire was still going, but we didn't see any of the smoke from the fire, but it might have caused haze in the distance. So at the light where we stopped with that bike rider, you could have turned left there and gone down several miles and then turned right and taken that towards Cave Creek Road. They have a nice shoulder for going down, but when you turn right, there's not a lot of roads, and I don't understand this, that have a good bike shoulder. Maybe because that's Scottsdale down there, and but I think right now where we're riding could be Scottsdale. I'm not sure. Now this part of the road, the shoulder was much narrower, and there were some potholes in the road. So we had originally planned on going straight right where we turned right, and we're coming up Scottsdale Road now, and we're going to turn left down Carefree Highway. But we had planned on going straight because it was a residential area, but they looked like they had it blocked off for anybody that didn't live there, so we just went this way. So after we turned left here, and that vehicle let us through, he was waving at us, and we were trying to yield to him. But we're going to turn right, and we're going to go up and look at homes at the base of Black Mountain. They were just phenomenal homes with a lot of statues, and our grade here got up to 10%. I don't know if it got up to 11 at all. Often it was at 7 or 8% grade. But you can go nice and slow. If I was to show this video of these homes, I'd do it at regular speed. They're just really nice homes. And way up top of the mountain, there's homes way up all over there. And I'm just imagining how expensive a home they are, based on the fact that the cost for the road alone would be just unaffordable for anybody but the ultra rich. So here we're going up a little higher, and you can see slowly the elevation is getting, well, I don't know if it's behind us or ahead of us. But it is a beautiful sight here, and we actually enjoyed this little side trip. Not something we do every day, and a lot of these homes just blended right into the mountains. So rather than keep going, we just made a U-turn and we're heading our way home. This is where my wife just wanted to look around at some of these expensive homes. She said she saw a coyote off on the left, and I never saw it. But there's an example of the house building just blending in with the entire background. Very nice. That's how the other half, or other 1% lives. Not exactly a half. So we're now going back up to Carefree Highway, and the only thing about Carefree Highway is it doesn't have a great shoulder, and they don't have a marked bike lane. It would be nice if they would actually go through and pave a bike lane in there, because this is a great route. I admit that I was comfortable because of the way the cars treated us. But there's some roads that I wouldn't be near as comfortable. And I'm presuming the vehicles here, they just appreciate bike riders, so they give them a little more leeway, or they're just irritated but are still polite. So we follow this road on down to Cave Creek Road, where we're going to turn right. And this is when we turn right, off on the left is a Walmart, and you'll never see the Walmart because it's hidden by the desert landscape. A really nice way to build businesses. Just, I'm still amazed that they do it that way. And if you've noticed all the way through the entire ride, there's no big signs or anything anywhere. It's just a pleasant drive with no outdoor advertising or anything. And the only time you lose this is when you get right into Cave Creek, where all the businesses are along the road. And basically, as I described in another video, it's a tourist trap where they have millions of different things, especially statues, outdoor things. And I'm calling it a tourist trap, but maybe those are the things that people that live around this area love, because the number of homes, the rich homes that we went by, that had a horse, an eagle, or some other statue up front was amazing. Right here we passed some kids that were running. Obviously school's not in, so I'm not sure if they're maybe training for the football team or something. So we're now going uphill very slightly. Well, this says we're going downhill 1%. So it must be just before we start going uphill. Yeah, now we're at 2 to 3% grade. But it's gentle all the way back to where we were staying. And just as I mentioned, thank you for watching if you got through this far. I have a lot more cycling videos on Crime Cycle on YouTube. And again, we enjoyed this ride enough to ride it twice in a row. And you, if you're like my wife, really will enjoy all the businesses with all the things they have, all the statues, water fountains, things like that, in front of the businesses. But there again, this is the off season, so there's some stores are closed and some have limited hours, some aren't open. Sunday and Monday. But it's a very nice place to visit. There wasn't, for me, much to do in this area, but bike riding, clearly I could do. My wife wanted to spend most of the time walking around looking at the different stores. So here we're coming up to the very end of the ride, and when we turn right, we're going to take Schoolhouse Road, and if you were going to hike up Black Mountain, that's where you would start, just down the road. Again, thank you for watching. Give it a like if you liked it. Have any comments, feel free to post them. Thank you again, and I'll let the video run out. Have a good day.